Hello everyone. If you are an accountant or you want to pursue your career in the accounts and finance, then Excel is the must learn tool for you. In today's video, I'm gonna explain some of important function which especially used in the accounts and the finance. So let's begin. Our first function is aggregate. Here I have trial balance of a company, but in some places I have error. So for doing the sum of this, we use sum function. You must be aware of it. We use sum and we give the range of the amount. So I select the first cell, shift control down arrow key, control plus enter, and because I have error value in the D14, we cannot find the sum. But if you know the aggregate function which recently introduced in the Excel latest version, you can ignore the all errors. Even it has so many options. So after this video, you will never use sum function, always use aggregate in the Excel. Equal sign, type aggregate. Then here we have a lot of options what we want to do. Let's say I want to do the sum. So I will select this one, press tab, comma, and these are the options which we can use. If I select 4, it will ignore nothing. It will consider all the values of all the fields which we will give in the next argument. But if I select 5, ignore hidden rows. If I select 6, ignore error values. So I'm going to select 6, press tab once again, then comma, and now I have to give array. It means the range of the fields which we want to do the sum. So I'm gonna select this one, shift control down arrow key, close the bracket, control plus enter. So this cell will be selected by default. If you will not press control, the cell will be down to the below side. So this is the tip for you. Here I used aggregate function and we got our answer. Now the second tip, sometimes we want to hide some rows and we want to see the total of the visible or the display rows only. For this we can use aggregate function as well. So I'm gonna use aggregate. I'm gonna use sum function, comma, and this time I'm gonna use number 3. Ignore hidden rows, error values, nested subtotal, and aggregate functions as well. And then comma, and then I'm gonna use the all rows which we want to include in the total. Close the bracket, control plus enter, and now I want to hide some rows. So put the filter and deselect some of the ledgers and click OK, and now you can see and there is a difference between these two numbers. So this is the benefit of using the aggregate. One more tip I'm gonna give you. Let's take one example. We have 4 values: material, labor, overhead, and the office head. We have to do the subtotal of these 2 values and we have to calculate a grand total of these subtotals, or including these 4 rows only. So there are many methods which you can apply, but if you use aggregate, let's say I'm gonna use aggregate over here, and I will use sum function and comma. I want to ignore nested subtotals and the aggregate function, and then if I give the range of these rows, I included some more rows. So whenever I include some more data in these rows, I will get the answer automatically. So I will close the bracket, control plus enter, and boom, I got the answer. So we can check equal sign this plus this, what we are getting the same answer. So if I include, let's say if I paste some more values over here, so it will do the total of these values only, not the subtotal one. So this is the first function which you have to learn if you are in the account department, you want to pursue your career. The next function you want to learn is round. Let's say I want to calculate the percentage of this amount. This is the subtotal of material and labor. As per our company, we put some percentage for calculating the overheads. So I have 3%. We have to calculate the 3% of this value. So here I want to calculate the overhead equal sign. Normally what we do, equal sign, select the value, multiply it with the percentage, control plus enter, and we got the answer. But now I want to make it round. We do not want any decimal places. I want to remove this 9. So for this we will use the round function, and then next argument, let's say I will start from scratch, so round, and then enter the number which is the calculation actually, so multiply it by the percentage, then comma, number digits. So let's say if we do not want any decimal places, we don't want to calculate any decimal places, so put 0, close the bracket, control plus enter, and then double click over here, we got the answer. Now if you want to round nearest 10, then you have to change this 0 to -1. If nearest 100, then -2, control plus enter. The next function is end of the month. Sometime for calculating the salaries, sometimes for do the calculations, we need to calculate the end date of the month. For this we will use EOD month, EO month, end of the month. For this, let's say we have some dates over here, and I want to calculate the last date of the month. So I'm gonna use equal sign EO month, press tab, give the reference of the cell, and the second argument is month. So select 0 for calculating the last date of the same month. Let's say it's 15th January 2024. So it will calculate the 31st January of 2024. So close the bracket, press enter, and change the format to this date. By default you will get the format in the journal numbers. So now drag or copy paste the function, so you will get the last day of this month. And let's say you want to calculate the next month, you want to calculate the end of the next month. It's very easy. So use same function EO month, give the reference, and this time you can give 1, and if you want the previous month's last date, then you have to use -1. So I'm gonna use 1 only, and I will copy paste. And this is the January 24, it is February 24, and this is 31st March, and here we can see the Feb 24 month. So this is how you can calculate the end of month. The next function is EDate. Now I want to calculate a date 24 months after this date. I can also calculate the before date, but first we will calculate the next date after 24 months. So for this, equal sign EDate function we are going to use, and here we have to give the reference of the start date. So I'm gonna use this one, comma, the months. So here we have to enter the 24 months, close the bracket, control plus enter, change the date if you want. So you have to change the format of this journal number to the date, which you can just copy the format paint and click over here. And now you have to drag and drop this to calculate. The date and the month will be same, but you can see instead of 24 it is 26. And now you can nested the functions using the end of the date. Let's say you want to calculate, okay, but first of all we can use the prior date. So if you put -24, so it will calculate the 24 months prior to this date. Undo, and now I'm gonna use end of the date, and then EDate, start date 24, 0, and it will calculate the last date of that month. So this is 15th January 26, and this is the 31st January 26. So this way you can calculate the dates. So hopefully friends, these functions will help you a lot in your accounting career. If you have any query related to these function or any other function, just do comment, let me know. I will try my best to give an example and answer of your query as soon as possible. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like the video, and do comment. Thank you for watching. Please come back again.